another episode of the Twin Flames Spiritual Chefs. And your twin flames, your favorite twin flames are here with you live. Welcome everybody to the show. I'm your host, Janine, along with my lovely co-host, Miss Keisha. Say hello to the world.
Hello.
We have something special for you today, audience. We have a special guest. He's hailing all the way from Rhode Island, and he is known as America's top psychic. He is currently on tour in a city near you and ready to grace you with lovely readings from the other side. He is also the star of the hit show Meet the Frasers on the E Network. He is also a well-published author and has made it on the New York Times bestsellers list. He is here to talk about his new book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead, Spirit's Advice from the Afterlife. Welcome, everybody. Our friend in our head, our hearts, and our home, Mr. Matt Fraser. Welcome, Matt, to the show.
Thank you. Good morning. It's great to be here with you both.
We're so happy to have you here, Matt. I just want to give everybody a little bit of some background information. So we were able to see you a couple of weeks ago at the Wellmount Theater right here in our home state of New Jersey. And I just wanted to say that, Matt, you gave an amazing, amazing performance. And we appreciate the fact that you took your time with everybody, because patience was definitely well noted. And the fact that you were so loving and there was so much energy in the room that I know if you haven't had a chance to see him live, you really must do so.
Definitely.
We also were able to meet you backstage.
Yes.
And which you are the nicest person, and coupled with the fact that you're also a man of your word. And when we met you, Matt, you said, "You want me to come on your podcast? Sure, I'll come on your podcast." And here you are. We're so happy that you are here. And
Yes.
one of
You
the
said
things
you like that energy. You said
you
you
loved our energy.
The truth. It's the truth. Let me tell you, when I met you girls, I says, these girls are going to do something big. I loved your energy. I love what you guys are doing. I know that you're new to to spirituality in terms of sharing it, but I know that you've been in this for quite some time. And I know that your souls have felt destined to help other people. So I'm happy to be here with you guys.
That's exactly
Thank
right.
you.
And
Yes.
Matt, you had also asked us, you said, are you guys really chefs? So I just want to clear something up to the audience members, especially those that are new to the show, that we're not actual chefs. I'm actually a really bad cook, by the way. No, I'm only kidding. I'm a great,
No, you're good.
I'm a great cook. But we call ourselves chefs because we are intuitive as psychics. We tap into people's emotions and we have the ability to really hone in on some of these things that are hindering people from moving forward. And in doing that, we understand that everybody has a special recipe, like DNA, right? Everybody's DNA is different. So everybody's recipe is different in the path of healing.
Yes.
And because of that, Matt, your book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead, talks about some of the things that also are in connection with our path and our mission. And that's why we had to have you on the show.
Oh, I love this.
And we wanted you to explain to the audience a little bit of advice and understanding how important it is to know how letting go and some of the things that we do in life, how it holds us back.
Well, first of all, I think that you girls did an amazing job of explaining, about the recipe, right?
Yes.
It's true that every single time I do a reading for someone, right? And even within your life, everyone's life is different. And it's a different recipe, right? A reading is a recipe for success for that one person.
Yeah.
So for example, when I do a reading for someone, let's say that you and, your sister both came to me, you're both going to get a totally different reading because what you do in your life is totally different from your sister's, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I tell people when it comes to your own journey, don't look at anybody else. Don't look at what anyone else is doing. Don't look where anyone else is, because your journey is your personal journey and it's meant just for you. And I want to share that with you because so many people come to me and they're like, Matt, I want to be just like you. I want to do what you do. And what I want people to know is yeah, I want you to have your own success and to do your own thing, but you also have to discover how you're gifted, because you're going to be totally gifted in a way that I'm not. And what I mean by that is that my grandmother was a psychic medium. My mom is a psychic medium. I'm a psychic medium, but all three of us have completely different gifts, which is completely fine. We all get the same information. All the information comes from one source, that's spirit, right?
Yes.
But we all have to learn how to tap in. And I want to bring this up because some people think that, because they're gifted in a different way than I am, that they're not as gifted. And that's just not true. Every psychic medium is gifted in their own special way. Every psychic medium has their own way to connect. And whether you feel, whether you sense, whether you know, whether you hear, whether you see, you are just as good as me or any other medium out there. There is no greatest medium in the world. I got to tell you that. It's all about how you use your own gift. So what I want everyone to know is this, is that I wrote the book, Don't Wait Till You're Dead. I actually have the copy right here. It just came out. This is my newest book, and it's all about finding your path and finding out, your life purpose. And it's hard, right? Because we all go through certain challenges. We all go through certain struggles. We all wonder why. Why did I have to go through that divorce? Why did I have to go through 5 bad relationships till I met the husband of my dreams? Why is it that, I had to go through bankruptcy or foreclosure or whatever it may be? And what I really want people to know is that it's really hard when we look at it like that. And when souls die and they get to the other side, they look back on their life and they realize one thing. They realize that it was all part of their journey. And they realize that every time we have a downfall or a failure, there's a way that we can pick ourselves up and there's a way that we can make ourselves better. And Don't Wait Till You're Dead. It sounds like it's a scary title. And a lot of people were afraid to buy this book because they were like, I don't know if I should open it. I don't know if I should get into it, right? Because it's scary to, look at your life and to make changes, but that's how you know that the changes are needed. And when you break past some of the things that are holding you back, whether it be grief from being in bad relationships, whether it be bad decisions that you made, when you look at it and you learn the life lessons, that's how you learn how to become your success story. So this book is filled with all of the tools that our loved ones on the other side have learned, shared with me, and I'm here to share them with all of you.
Matt, I'm glad you mentioned that about your book because Janine and I are both registered nurses. And we've been nursing for over 15 years. And one of the things that we're finding is that people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s are saying, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what my life purpose is. I don't think I fulfilled my purpose. I don't know what my talent is. So you did explain in your book, can you explain to the audience right now what your answer to that is?
Yeah, first of all, I love your accent, the audience. Can we talk to the audience right now?
I'm from Brooklyn.
Listen, everyone always says that I have the thick accent. I love that you're here showing me up with the accent because listen, I don't have as thick as you because I'm from Rhode Island, but close enough. I love how you talk. Well, first of all, what I think that people don't realize is, and this happens a lot with older people, is that, they may have had an amazing life, done amazing things, had amazing accomplishments. And then after they retire, they're like, shit, now what? Right? Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize is that your life purpose is meant to change over time. And it does change over time. So you might be a school teacher and that might be your life purpose for 10 or 20 years, teaching kids, being in school, enriching people's lives, right? And then what happens after that? Is it that you go and you become a college professor and you go and you teach other people to become teachers and to do the work that you do? Is it that you take someone under your wing? Is it that you go and you do home care, for children for children after school? Whatever it is, our life purpose changes. It could be that you have a totally different life purpose. You could go from being in the school system, which actually I have a success story. There was 2 teachers that I met, and they were successful teachers in Fall River, Massachusetts. Both taught and loved their teaching career. They retired. They said, "Now what?" And I love when we say now what, because we're really saying now what, God, like what the hell do you have in store for me?
Yeah.
And then they ended up getting involved with, they wanted something to feel fulfilling, and they got involved with an animal shelter that was up and coming.
Love it.
And then next thing you know, they ran with it and they became the president and secretary to the board of this animal shelter. And now they brought this animal shelter from a little, it was like literally in a slummy part of town. It could only house a couple animals, to next thing you know, having a building built and having, hundreds of animals, vet care, hundreds of adoptions, hundreds of success stories. And that became their new life purpose. And I actually sit on the board of directors of that organization. It's a true story. It's called,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's called Forever Paws Animal Shelter in Fall River. So it just goes to show how you might be doing something now and finding your life purpose, but don't think in 10 years from now that it's going to be the same. Life is all about change, growth, and evolution. And I think that that's where people get scared, is that they say, now what? You know, I already had my life. Well, no, if you're living and breathing, there's still something that you can be doing. There's still a plan that God has for you. And that's what's so beautiful.
I love it.
That's great. That's so funny because I share a similar story over the weekend where I had a friend of mine who just retired, and same thing. She's in the process of trying to understand what her purpose is. But one thing that I want to talk about is, so I specialize in what's called shadow work. And for people that don't know what shadow work is, it's really honing in on some of those deep and dark parts of ourselves that hold us back from moving forward. And what Keisha and I have realized is that in doing this work, sometimes people have a hard time letting go of these dark things within us. And sometimes they do it because they are ashamed and they feel guilty and they think that God is not releasing them from this or judging them. And I really want you to tell people how important it is to know that it is okay to go through the process of shadow work and letting go of these emotions.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, the thing is that our soul comes in a free and pure soul. But the hard part is that as we live life, we're like sponges. We absorb everything. We absorb negative energy. We absorb energy from the places and people around us. But also, we go through tough experiences within life. And when we go through experiences in life that aren't good for us, right? Maybe we were in an abusive relationship. Maybe we had an abusive parent. Maybe there was some type of a past trauma that we go through. When we hold on to that trauma, you do exactly that. You hold on to it, and it takes up space in your soul. I can't tell you how many readings that I've done where someone was afraid to find their life purpose or afraid to move forward into a good chapter of their life because something in the past had held them back. For example, there was this one woman that I was connecting with, and she watched her mother go from abusive relationship to abusive relationship to abusive relationship. She saw her mom go through really traumatic experience where men would, berate her and physically abuse her, to the point where when she got older, she realized, well, thought to herself or realized, I don't want to be like my mom. And, in her mind, she thought all men are evil. Like, I don't want to date. I don't want a man. I don't want to bring up a child because I remember what my mom went through.
Yeah.
And, this is what can also happen, is that past trauma can actually be passed down, meaning that the trauma that you saw your mom go through, your dad go through, it's passed down to you, you absorb it, you feel it, and then it blocks you within your life. And it's not until we release it, right, that we're able to move forward. And what she didn't realize before the reading was that this was not her karma. This was not a part of her. She was meant to get married, to have children, to find a nice man, right? And she was looking at it different. She saw like, oh my God, my mom was abused. My mom went through all this trauma. My mom went through all this pain. And she was thinking to herself, like, oh my God, that means that for me, I'm not going to be able to go and to have that in my life. I have to push everybody away. I can't trust men. I have to just be by myself. When really what heaven was showing her was, find the right relationship, find the right man, be in a relationship for the right reasons, and you'll be fine. And I think that that's a really good moral of life, is do things for the right reasons and do things that's going to best serve you.
Excellent.
It's easier said than done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I work on a psych ward now, and people are always battling within their souls, and I find it very disheartening. But Matt, I want to also mention to you, we, besides spiritual life intuitive coaching, we also do quantum healing hypnotherapy. And one of the major things we find from people's spiritual teams that come through and give messages is that they tell us all the time, they're speaking to the client throughout their life and they're not listening. And they actually get a little frustrated, and they're like, we want to help them, but they're not tagging us in. Can you talk about that? How I know you, in your book, you did a whole chapter on connecting with your spiritual team. Also, too, in chapter 4, you talked about divine flow. So can you talk about those two things for us?
Well, first of all, I got to tell you, I'm so happy that you're talking about mental health, because mental health is a struggle that we all go through in one shape or form or another. For some, it's grief, right? I deal with a lot of people who go through grief, but sometimes it's something completely different. It's anxiety. It's anxiety, it's panic attacks, right? It's some other type of issue that we might be dealing with, that we might be holding in. And the thing is that when you need help, it's so important that you get help and you surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up and push you through. You know, when we go through something mental with our health, it's the hardest thing that we can ever go through because it's an invisible illness. And people treat you differently when they know you have cancer, when they know you've lost a leg, when they know that you've going through a trauma that they can see. The hard part is with a mental illness, it's invisible. We can't see someone going through a mental illness. So therefore, it seems like nobody else cares, that you're in it all alone. You feel as though that you're by yourself and you're the only one feeling that pain that no one else can see.
Yes.
And the sad part is that I still feel like we're not where we need to be in this world in terms of mental illness. I feel like that, you know, if you're going through a mental illness, you really need to become your advocate, surround yourself with people, talk about what you're feeling, talk about what you're going through, because people can't see it, right? And then also surround yourself with the tribe and the people that you need. And you're not alone. This is why we're all given a guardian angel, right? People think that a guardian angel is there to help us when tragedy strikes, and they are. But your guardian angel is also there when you're going through a really, really, really tough time, like, for example, through a mental illness or through anxiety, right? So the thing is that it all starts with letting two people in, letting in your guardian angel, but also letting in the people around you that are really going to help you, and not to feel like you have to keep it bottled up. We can talk about what it is that's bothering us. And I got to tell you that same thing happened to me. I grew up, I was bullied. I had a horrific bullying experience in high school, to the point where I actually thought, you know, maybe I shouldn't be in this world. And I did have thoughts of ending my life. And I was at the lowest of the low. And thankfully, thank God, you know, I spoke out about this. And it wasn't until I was at the lowest of the low, where I was really thinking about ending my life, that I talked to my parents and I realized there was another way. I didn't have to be stuck in that situation. And I think that's what most people think, is that they have to be stuck in a certain situation. There's nothing I can do. I was afraid. My parents were paying for private school. They were paying a shit ton of money, right? My dad had a lot of stress. My mom had a lot of stress. I'm like, how am I going to go and tell them that, you know, I don't want to be in school anymore, and I might be, I know, I think about ending my life, and I think about all these things. And I went to my parents and I told them this, and guess what? My parents found another way for me. They're like, we can switch schools. And I was petrified of making the change. I was afraid of skipping school, of switching schools. But my parents were also supportive, and they said to me, listen, you got two options. You can try this new school and see if it works. If not, you go get your GED. That's it. You don't have to be in this toxic environment. And, you know, when I went, I said, you know what? I remember saying to my parents, I'm going to go for a month. I'm going to switch schools. I'm going to try this new school for a month and see what happens. And it ended up being that once I got out of that past situation and I got in this new school, I friggin' loved it. I loved going to school. I made friends. People loved me for who I was. So it was just a bad environment for me. And guess what? After that, everything changed. Like, for example, I'll be honest and I'll be open with you girls. When I went through that in high school, I was on antidepressants because I was in a school where I was bullied, right? I was going through this really hard time. I went to see doctors. They put me on antidepressants. But the moment that I got out of that situation, I got in the new school, I didn't need to take medication anymore. It was situational. So what I have to let people know is that you're not trapped. Whether you're in an abusive relationship at home, whether it's in a work relationship, whatever it may be, you are not trapped. We make ourselves feel as though that we're trapped, but we're not. We can push through it. And it just is about getting that guts and getting that courage and bringing in people. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my mom and dad. Well, there's people that are around you that can help you.
Exactly. Definitely. I'm so glad you said that, because people don't understand how important it is to have a support team, especially your spiritual team. And I love in chapter 5 and in chapter 2, you bring these things up about having your spiritual team, where they come from, who they are, when you will meet them, and things that they do for you. And people don't know that if you don't call in your spiritual team, they can't step in and help. You're on a path. If you call and reach out to your team, they are always here to help you. So I'm so glad you touched on that. So one thing, Matt, is when we watched you perform, you just exuded so much energy. I didn't even need my coffee today because you're so full of energy.
Yes.
And in person, it's exactly the same. You give off so much energy. And I just want to know, especially when Keisha and I, we do our readings, it takes a lot out of us.
It does.
And I just want to know, what do you do to decompress, Matt?
That's a really good question. So, being that, it kind of helped me that I started when I was younger, right? Being that I was 18 years old, I've been doing this 15 years now. I automatically just go there. It's been so much of my life for so long that I don't know anything different. But I will tell you, okay, and honest and truly, I take a week off out of every month and nobody is allowed to fucking bother me. No living person, no dead person. That's it. And it actually is coming up. I'm all excited because, I'm on the biggest tour of my life right now, but I actually go and I have a place in Florida, and that's what it is. And for the longest time, I wasn't doing readings in Florida. I refused to do it. And everyone's like, Matt, why don't you live here? Why don't you do readings in West Palm Beach? And I'm like, because I don't want to see dead people in West Palm Beach, right? And then eventually I started, I'm doing readings in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and all different places. But, for a while it was my safe haven. And I'm like, I don't want to bring work here. I just want to relax here. And, the other side is really good about that, I have to say, is that, if you give them your time during the day and during times when it's, like, for example, they can talk to me all day long anytime that they want. Whether I'm showering or shaving, they can talk to me, right? But when it comes to this 1 week, I ask them for this 1 week so I can recharge, so I can be my best for the people that I'm reading for my tour, for my family, because it does get draining, right? It definitely gets draining. And you have to learn to take some time for yourself. And it's not just about the mediumship work, it's any work, right? To be able to help other people, you also have to be in a good place yourself. And it's even more so when you're a medium, because your energy has to be high and your energy has to be in a place where you can help people.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So Matt, we know that you give a lot of readings virtually, and we wanted to know about how you're able to really do these medium readings from a virtual standpoint.
That's actually a really good question, because I had no idea if it was going to actually work. And what I mean by that is that obviously, back in the day before the television show, my clients were from all over. I mean, I had a 2-year waiting list, and there was people that I read for from China, from Ireland, from Scotland. And, I would do it either on the phone or I would do it by Zoom. And then the cool part is that when the pandemic happened and the world stopped, we all had to learn to communicate in a different way.
Absolutely.
So my team was like, Matt, what if you do a live event on Zoom and you give readings on Zoom? And I'm like, I don't think it's going to work. And they're like, what do you mean it's not going to work? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I've never used my gift in this way, right? I've read for people one-on-one. That's easy. I'm like, but when you have a ton of people, like in an event, when you have groups of people there, how the hell am I going to be able to know what soul goes with what person? So they're like, well, why don't you try it? And I'm always up for change. I'm like, all right, we're going to try it. And I promised them, I said, I'll do one event and we'll see how it goes. So during the pandemic, we did one event, and it was crazy. The moment that people started popping up on the screen, I realized that I wasn't just seeing them, I was seeing their loved ones in spirit as well. And 1 minute I might be talking to like Peter in Chicago who had lost his dad. And the next thing you know, talking to Jane in California who had lost her mom. And the next thing you know, talking to this one. And it was crazy, because just like being in an audience, when I look out in the audience and I'm like, your mom passed, your dad died, this person died in this way, that same thing happens over Zoom. So it was really cool to see that I could use my gift in this way. And, ever since the pandemic, we've still, in between tour stops, I still do the online group readings. And it's amazing to see the things that come through and the healing that takes place, because people find me from all over the world. And some people can't get to a tour stop, either because they live in the UK, or, for example, like there's this one woman who just contacted me from Germany. So who came to an online group reading and got a message. So the cool part is that I love being able to use my gift to reach people near and far, and Zoom is just another way to do that.
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you see anybody around us?
I definitely see a couple different souls that are here. So first of all, when I'm connecting, did you lose your mom?
I did.
She's here, because she just said to me, that's my daughter. Know that it's her way of letting you know that she's here, because the moment I was connecting, her soul was right behind you. And I got to tell you that your mom had a lot of responsibility here in this world. She shows me that, like, she took care of her whole family when she was here. She shows me that your mom was the type of person, she was very selfless when I'm connecting with her. All about everybody else around her. And she's even shown me throughout her life, she gave up so much just so that all of you would have a better life here in the physical world. And she's showing me that. And she says to me, Matt, that's all I wanted. All I wanted was to see my girl successful. All I wanted was to see my family be okay. And on the other side, your mom shows me that she is okay. She is with you. And she's also showing me that there's a child that also passed as well. Do you know if there was a baby or a soul that did not make it here in this world?
So I'll reveal that I lost a baby.
Know that that soul's with your mom. I know, because she showed me this. And by the way, thank you for saying that, because do you know how many readings that I do where I'll see someone that had lost a child and they won't say it, and they'll be like, they won't acknowledge it. But what's so beautiful is that soul is an angel that's watching over you. And your mom showed me that baby that's there. She also just said to me when I'm connecting with her that family members, like, I don't know what it is. She shows me she was like obsessed with her hair here in the physical world.
Okay.
And did your family keep like either Barbie pins from her or have like some type of like pins that went in her hair?
So yeah, my youngest, well, my oldest one, who's 25 years old now. One night my mother was sleeping because she had moved in with me and my husband, and my mother loved to have her hair massaged. So she gave at the time my daughter was 2 years old, a thing of bobby pins, and they were all like rainbow colors. So I got up in the middle of the night, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I opened the door. My mom had a whole bunch of grease and bobby pins in her hair.
That's so funny.
And my daughter Serenity was like, "Ma, I'm busy. Close the door." And I laughed. I was like, listen, they got my mom was knocked out.
You were like, she good. Like,
oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah, she's here. Those are the moments that she's remembering. And I got to tell you, at the end of the day, your mom just wants to thank you for taking care of her, because she says, I was never that person. She goes, I never expected anyone to take care of me. I never expected anyone to give up their life like this. So she just wants to thank you for that.
Thank you. And I know she's here, so Ma, I love you.
Yeah, and she also hears the prayers that you give to her as well. She tells me that you pray all the time. So thank you for doing that. She also says to me that there's a Bible that was kept of hers. Do you have her Bible?
I do.
So know that she says to me, like, that's very special, because your mom was that, like, anytime she was in grief or having a hard time or whatever it may be, she went to that Bible. She says, so you hold on to that. That's one of my most prized possessions, she tells me.
Wow.
So awesome. So awesome.
Try not to cry.
Well, listen, that's what's so beautiful is that, our loved ones, when they pass on, they hold on to the memories that we had with them here in this world. The memories are so beautiful when it comes to the other side and the afterlife, because no matter what you had, Alzheimer's, dementia, whether it is at the end, you just couldn't remember because of the medication, or maybe you just didn't remember that well here in this world. When we get to the side, we remember everything, every moment that we spent with our loved ones, every moment that we had here in this world. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because your loved ones realize that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much money you made, where you were within life. It matters about those memories and the love that you shared with other people.
Definitely.
100%. 100%. Matt, thank you so much for stopping by and being.
I just want to say something really quick before we let Matt go. This book is amazing. And we've both been talking about this book for the last couple of days.
Yeah.
One of the things I need people to understand, and me and Janine are trying to let whoever we interact with, that God loves everyone. God wants to see everyone win. And so people like yourself, Matt, Janine, and me, we were sent here to help them. So I just really want people to get this book, because like you said, the title may scare people off a little bit, but it's actually enjoyable and it's safe. That's the best thing I can say. It's very safe. And also too, Janine and I are both listening. We listened to the Audible book, and then we got the actual book here. And I love the fact that in the back you have a journal, so people can write down everything that you discuss in the book, and to help them find out what their life purpose is. So I just want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you so much for saying that. It's true. God wants you to win. And I think that we lose sight of that sometimes, right?
Definitely.
And I think that this is where people get lost. And this is the reason why I wrote the book. It's that as humans, we are programmed to know the 99 reasons why we are going to fail, right? So there are 99 real reasons why we're going to fail when we're going through our dream, when we're going to live our life purpose, whatever it is. But the cool part is that heaven sees that one reason why it will work. And I got to tell you, I'm living proof of that. When I first started coming out as a medium and doing this work, everybody, my friends, my family, everybody said that's not going to work. Oh, it's a phase. Oh, he's not going to be able to make money. And but the funny part is I wasn't doing it to make money. I was doing it, because I loved doing what I did. I still had a full-time job, right? So when I first started doing this work, I was like, I didn't care what anybody had said. And people were like, oh, that's not going to work. There's no way. Everyone's a medium. There's so many mediums, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And, long story short, to go from reading people for $20, right, to next thing you know, being able to have a reality TV show, to have 4 published books, to be able to go into, be traveling around the world. There was like a 1% chance that this could happen. But the thing is that I didn't get lucky. God helped me, and God isn't just helping me. God's helping you. God's helping everyone. And like you said, that's the perfect way to say it. God wants you to succeed. So don't let the 99 reasons why it won't work stop you from living your best life or going towards your goal, right? You even see, like, the best thing that I've seen in the world is that, and I know you girls have it in your house because we all get it in the house, is the freaking scrub daddy. You got the scrub daddy in your house?
What's the scrub daddy?
You guys don't know what the scrub daddy is?
Wait.
Oh my God, wait a minute. I got to Google this and show you. I know everybody who's watching is going to know what the scrub daddy is.
Oh my
Scrub,
God. I like the name.
Wait, when I show you,
Scrub
you're going to be like, yeah.
Scrub daddy.
How do you not know what the scrub daddy is? You don't know what this is? Hold on, wait a minute. Let me show you. Wait a minute.
Man, talking about a scrub daddy.
This. Can you see this?
Oh, you know what?
The scrub
I know the
daddy.
scrub daddy. I thought about buying it, but I got 3 daughters that clean my house, so I don't need it.
All right, so your daughter's gonna have the scrub. So the scrub daddy's it's a freaking sponge with a smiley face on it.
Yeah.
And they brought it on Shark Tank, and all the other sharks were like, "There's no way it's a F." They were saying it's an effing sponge with a smiley face on it. An effing sponge with like, there's no way this is gonna be a company. And Lori's like, I think it's going to be a company, right? And then all of a sudden, this scrub daddy, this stupid little sponge, I have many in my house, and I'm going to tell you it's the best sponge. But anyway, it went into being a multi-million-dollar company. Like, millions of these products are sold. It's like the #1 like house cleaning product, and it's like everyone was like, "That's stupid. It's not going to work. It's not going to work." Well, guess what? It did work. And it's the same thing with the Ring doorbell. Do you guys have the Ring doorbell?
Now I have a Ring.
Yes,
So you have a Ring, but not the doorbell? So anyways, the Ring doorbell, same thing, right? They went on Shark Tank, and Shark Tank is one of those shows where they went on, nobody wanted to invest in the Ring doorbell. And look at where it is now. Everyone's got Ring. Everyone. Absolutely. So the thing is that it doesn't matter if other people don't believe in your goals. Doesn't matter if other people don't believe in you. Who gives a shit? The thing is that you're on your own journey, and it's fun proving people wrong.
Definitely.
Yes,
and we all have to remember, especially as being light workers, that it's not about us. It's not about us. It's about a bigger mission here. And we are so happy to be living in our purpose. And I know that you feel the same way, Matt. And we're so glad to have you join us on the show. If you guys have not seen him in action, please go see Matt Fraser live in performance, and also go scoop his book. Please, this book was great. You did a really good job on this book. I'm telling you, I'm so grateful for the messages that you put in this book. But please, if you haven't had a chance to go pick it up, I know it's available on Amazon and also in Barnes & Noble. Tell everybody how they can find you, Matt.
So listen, you don't have to be dead to find me. All you have to do is go right to my website, meetmattfraser.com, meetmattfraser.com, because if dead people can find me, so can you.
That is right. And they find you all the time. Matt, you are such a joy.
Yes.
We are so grateful for you being here. And hopefully you could come back and see us again another time. But if not,
I hope so.
Come see you.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
Absolutely. And audience, thank you for joining us. And if you don't know, now you know. Please remember that God is love. Love is the highest frequency, and go and find the God within you. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Bye-bye.